Welcome back to the Flint River Scout Shop's digital mini-series on conservation service projects. Have you eaten your vegetables lately? Well, your inner 8-year-old is about to be very happy because all vegetables are about to cease to exist. But so is every other food. Without pollinators, such as butterflies, bees, and bats, dozens of crops can't reproduce. So prepare for a world without tomatoes, lettuce, beans, berries, apples, coffee, cocoa, and multitudes of other fruits and vegetables. In fact, bees alone facilitate the reproduction of 90% of wild flowering plants and 75% of crops in the United States. In this installment of our mini-series, we will discuss the importance of pollinators, threats to their populations, and potential remedies. Unfortunately, pollinator populations are plummeting worldwide, with 40% of invertebrate pollinator species on the road to extinction. This means that 4 out of 10 of the insect species that are irreplaceable, vital in the production of our food, are perishing at alarming rates. Locally here in Georgia, the Xerxes Society for Invertebrate Conservation classifies a multitude of insects, including 6 species of solitary bees, as either vulnerable or imperiled. While data is relatively vague on the global scale, experts from organizations ranging from the USDA to the UN agree that loss of habitat and improper chemical usage are the chief catalysts in these startling statistics.
So how can we as Scouts seek to mitigate this pending disaster? You can do your part and maybe inspire your unit or lodge to do their part by constructing a simple device which houses solitary bees and placing it in your backyard. Solitary bees are wild bees who don't live in colonies, don't produce honey, and generally don't sting unless provoked. Over its brief lifetime, a single solitary bee can pollinate up to 50,000 plants.
Compared with honeybees, solitary bee species are equally effective at pollination. Sometimes they are more effective than their colony-dwelling cousins. By placing a solitary bee habitat on your property, you address the lack of pollinator habitat's threat and boost plant reproduction rates around your entire neighborhood. Depending on your location, multiple options exist to house solitary bees in your backyard. 2 common bee habitats are hotels and blocks.
Bee hotels consist of multiple blocks of wood, sheltered under a miniature house-like structure. Each wooden piece has multiple sizes of holes drilled into it, providing a habitat in which various species of solitary bees, large and small, can overwinter.
If you lack space in your backyard for such a sizable construction, or live in an urban area which lacks the necessary foliage to support such a large population of bees, consider building a bee block.
Surprisingly simple to construct, drill, and mount, this contraption is perfectly suited for small and medium-sized backyards. To ensure the success of your bee block, make sure that the wood is untreated and that the holes are anywhere from 1/16 to 3/8 of an inch in diameter, 3 to 6 inches in depth, and only open on one end. For complete guidelines to optimize your bee block, visit this link or purchase a properly constructed, pre-built habitat online.
Since each hole can house up to 10 bees, a block with 50 holes can overwinter up to 500 bees. Next spring, these 500 bees can facilitate the pollination of up to 25 million plants. Let's take a closer look at the block. My personal bee block is pretty weathered, since it's been exposed to the elements for over a year. As you can see, the dirt in these holes is the remnant of nests which are used by leafcutter, bumble, and mason bees to house eggs, larvae, and pupa over the winter months. Another crucial component in ensuring a pollinator-friendly backyard is avoiding the unnecessary use or improper disposal of chemicals and pesticides. Obviously, if the product is potent enough to hurt humans or pets, it's probably not great for the critters in your backyard. Introducing a strong chemical into the water cycle by dumping it outside or pouring it down your sink can wreak havoc on a nearby or downstream ecosystem. Consult your local garbage disposal service or dump to discover the proper disposal methods for certain chemicals and compounds.
Thirdly, growing native plants and flowers in your backyard is typically beneficial to attract and sustain pollinators.
Finally, spreading awareness of this impending crisis is key. If everyone erected a pollinator habitat in their backyards, the global ecosystem would not be in such dire straits. As scouts, we should lead the charge. Start by informing your local troopmates, and then expand into your community. As we have seen, the plight of pollinators is a grave concern, entailing momentous repercussions for all life on Earth. Thankfully, this predicament is one which can be addressed through the efforts of everyday citizens, you and me. By placing solitary bee blocks, butterfly houses, or bat habitats on your property, you can transform your backyard into a pollinator refuge and contribute towards curing the pollinator's precarious plight. If you are interested in sheltering wild bees, now is the perfect time to construct a solitary bee habitat so that you can install it in your yard during early spring. For more information on bat or butterfly boxes, check out these links. Not only are these necessary additions to your local ecosystem, but building a large habitat or a series of small ones makes for a great eagle, Hornaday, or unit service project. For my third Hornaday Silver project, I built 100 bee blocks, personally logging over 200 man-hours, and distributed them across 14 Georgia counties. While your efforts do not have to be that extravagant, consider simply building one bee block for your own backyard. And through your simple conservation efforts, you can keep scouting and keep serving.